Hey there, I'm just working on processing the Potbelly pig that I butchered here about 2 hours ago. Potbelly pigs make a great homestead meat pig. They're a nice smaller sized pig, a little more compact, generally butchered at around 50 to 60 pounds, and you get about half of their live weight worth of meat after they're butchered and deboned, which is a pretty good weight retention after butchering. Now, yeah, ooh, this looks good. Nice liver loaf ready to go in the oven. Ooh. Yes. Processing them is fairly simple. They're small, so it's not like the all-day affair that a full-size hog is. Generally, they're butchered at around 9 to 10 months old, around the 10-month-old mark. The average Potbelly at 10 months is going to be about 50 to 60 pounds and have between 25 and 30 pounds of meat. That's minus all the bones and everything. That's just deboned meat weight. So they're not a bad breed as far as how much feed to how much meat they gain. They're not bad that way, and they're not generally all that fatty. I mean, you can see on some of my cuts here. Here's a nice rump roast. It's not really a lot of fat. There's definitely a layer of fat on the outside because I haven't trimmed that off yet. Might leave most of that on actually, but it's not even a 1/4 inch thick of fat. Potbelly pigs are only super fat and overly obese if you let them get too fat. If you feed them too many calories, they get too much feed or too much high energy feed. Yeah, restrict their feed and they won't get fat. If you want them to get fat, they will. They'll put on fat quickly. This one was about a 105-pound Potbelly here. All this meat came from about a 100-pound Potbelly, so she had around 50 pounds of meat. And she gained about 10 pounds worth of fat in the last month because I was giving her a high corn diet. I wanted to have at least a good gallon of lard to render down from that. So that'll be pretty handy. Now this here is the belly. This is 1/4 of the belly, half of one belly side, which is the bacon cuts. I don't generally cut them like bacon because they're a bit thin. I mean, you can see just like bacon, they've got that fat marbling through here. Just like your standard bacon, it's just thinner. It's half or less thickness of a standard bacon. So I usually slice them up and cook them like a steak. I'll treat them like bacon, cure them and all, and cook up some nice bacon steaks. That's incredibly tasty. Gotta get that belly in here and get it cut up. There's not too much fat on these guys unless you get them fat. Most people do overfeed their Potbelly pigs. Potbellies don't have a bad taste. They can have a bad taste just like any animal if they're this way. If they are not cut up and processed and the meat's not cooled down too quickly after the animal's been dispatched, then you get some enzymes souring going on in the meat that gives it an off taste and off smell. That's where most of it comes from. If you butcher a boar, there's a chance that it'll have what they call boar taint, which basically just means that he's got too much testosterone in him. That happens if you have an unneutered boar and he's been kept too close to the female's pens. If you want to avoid that with an unneutered boar, you got to have them 100 feet or more apart for 30 days. And that tends to lessen that factor. So, I gotta get my bacon curing. Little liquid smoke. Go heavy on the liquid smoke, that's key. A little black pepper, oh yeah. Bit of syrup. That should do it. Potbellies are a fun little animal to raise for pork. That's all we raise here on my homestead. I like the size of them, I like how easy they are to process. 2 or 3 hours of just kind of poking at it and taking your time, and you've got a whole pig processed. It's not an all-day affair. Alrighty. Well, there's the belly, and that's soaking up to be a nice bacon. I will put that in the cure. A little more salt in there. Put that in the fridge for a couple days. And that'll cure up into a nice bacon. And then I'll probably fry it in the frying pan for some bacon steaks. Okay, For dispatching a potbelly, the 22 long rifle works great. Not so great out of a pistol. It can be hit and miss. I don't recommend that. If you're going to use a pistol, use at least 22 Magnum or something bigger. I gotta start going through the scraps here now. Potbellies aren't all that fat. This guy, this is the largest hunk of fat I got off of him. This is good quality leaf lard. It'll cook down to a really, really nice cooking lard. Just slice it up kind of thin, and I will put it in the crock pot overnight, and it'll be all nice high quality lard by morning. Cool thing is, with the heritage hogs, generally their lard is very, very low in saturated fats. It's usually a liquid at room temperature, more like an oil than it is a lard, which is really quite neat. It's a lot lower in saturated fats, and it's a lot higher in vitamin content, just because they're raised slower and they're allowed to mature a little more naturally before they're butchered. Okay, put that in the pile. This potbelly pig will feed us for quite a while. This will be great. If you want to know more about raising and butchering potbelly pigs for meat, I have a great article about that on northernhomesteading.com, my blog. If you just go there and look under the Animals tab, you'll find my article on raising potbellies for meat, and it's really highly informative. You'll learn a lot from it. I put an awful lot of research and time into putting that together. Ooh, my favorite cut. The ribs. Equipment for butchering a potbelly. You're going to want 2 knives, just a short one and a big one. The short one is what I use for skinning them. Yes, I skin these. I don't scald them or burn the hides down. I just skin them. It's a lot easier. So I need the 2 knives, butcher knife and just a smaller boning knife, skinning knife, and either a hacksaw or a bone saw. Now I've got the loins already carved off of this, and I'm going to now just cut this ribs off as close to the backbone as I can get. These ribs are really, really tasty from the potbellies. They actually tend to have, in my opinion, some of the better pork ribs. They got a great marbling going on in the ribs. One of the few places they get good marbling on the fat. Alright, stand still. Now there's one whole side of ribs. For these ribs, because they're so much shorter, you don't need to cut them in half again. To portion them, all I do is cut them into 3 rib pieces. And that is a full portion of ribs for the average adult. These ribs are amazing smoked. Oh my goodness. I like to use the same brine on the ribs I do on my bacon and smoke them, and you get bacon ribs. It's incredible. Potbelly pigs are great little pigs to raise for meat. Great homestead animals to add to your little homestead hobby farm. Don't let people tell you they're no good, they're an inferior quality pork. They can create some very high quality, organic, natural, slow raised pork. They're great animals. Look into them more, see if you'd like to do it too. Well, thanks for watching Northern Homesteading. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, click the like button and look around for more of my videos that you like. I put a lot of time into trying to find the most helpful content to give you. Thanks. Bye.